Hi guys, it's Monday, still Monday, and in reading for today, lesson one for our new bend, we're still talking about becoming experts on in series books, but we did everything we needed to do to think about for characters. We're not getting rid of that. That's still here. We still have to remember it, but we're going to add to it. Now we're going to be talking about becoming experts on an author's craft. And today specifically, we're going to notice how the author helps you make vivid pictures in your mind. And isn't that true? And so I'm going to leave this paper here. It says Vivid Words That Create Pictures for Me as I read to you a book that I think you're going to enjoy. It is part of a series. It does create really vivid pictures in my mind of what's going on in the story. And it was new to me. I just started it over Easter break because, again, I had grabbed a bunch of stuff to leave with. And Lucy Calkins has suggested, again, she's the woman who is our reading, who sets up our reading program. And she had suggested that we read more Frog and Toad. And I love Frog and Toad, and I get it. But for most of us, we've passed a lot of the timing in Frog and Toad. And you were so good when we read The Journey of Edward Tulane that I really wanted to find something in a series that would be a little bigger, maybe something you could go to the library and use that library card they gave you and download another one. So one of the things I've always done in teaching, long before I followed this workshop model, is I've read aloud to the class some book that it's in a series, so the kids would get excited about it and could get into it, and then they could continue reading the series on their own. Think about in class, just when even Hounsley and Katina, when we're starting to read, and those kind of things. So once you read one, you sort of want to read more. Well, this is called El Rey Jakes, and this is He Is Not a Chicken. This is book one in the series. I'm going to come to the back and I'm going to read the blurb to you. It is an N, which is a little bit harder, but it's going to give us a lot of good information. If you're reading on a J, if you're reading on a K, awesome job. You're still going to be given a lot of information about in vivid words and descriptions that create pictures, because all of those books create pictures in our head. Frog and Toad, I can just picture it. I almost, in Frog and Toad, get more of a mood set, a quiet and loving kind of mood, where you're going to see what happens in El Rey Jakes. So let me just read the blurb to you. It says, he may be small, but he's got a big heart. El Rey Jakes may be the smallest kid in Miss Sanchez's third grade class, but he has a big personality, and he's not going to let Jared, the biggest kid in class, call him a chicken or get in the way of a trip to Disneyland. All El Rey has to do is stay out of trouble for 1 week and keep away from Jared. The question is, can he do it? All right, so I'm just going to start the first chapter to read to you. Chapter 1, you can see when there's a picture, I will show it to you, but otherwise, I'm just going to do it as a read aloud. So I'll leave El Rey Jakes sort of, no, I don't know if I can get his face up there too. Mrs. Dunner's not the best. Oh, give it to you. Perceptually impaired Peg cannot do it. Ay, ay, ay. All right, get him up there. Okay. Chapter 1 is called 2 for Flinching. 2 for Flinching. Jared Matthew says at lunch, 2 for flinching, Jared Matthew says at lunch on one Monday in January. Bop! He punches me really hard on the right arm muscle, which is not very big. It's true. I want you to look at bop. Onomatopoeia, and look how it is printed different. Remember when we look at different kinds of text? So I know that's a big one. Okay? It looks like a ping pong ball, only brown. I didn't flinch, I argue, rubbing my arm to make the sting go away. My name is El Rey Jakes, and I'm 8 years old. I am the smallest kid in Miss Sanchez's third grade class, even counting the girls, and Jared is the biggest. It's like I'm made out of sticks, and Jared's made out of logs. My dad says I'm going to get bigger someday, but when? Here's one to grow on, El Rey. Jared's kiss up friend Stanley Washington says, his glasses gleaming like mean lizard eyes, and bop! Elray wishes he would grow, Jared says. Because I'm so short. Great joke, Jared. And then Jared laughs like a cartoon donkey. Ha ha ha. It's just another relaxing lunch on an ordinary day at Oak Glen Primary School in Oak Glen, California. So here we see Elray, who's small. He got bopped by Jared, who's the biggest kid in class, who's obviously not very nice, and there's his friend with those eyes. So right away, when I look at this, I'm going to go back and talk about some of the vivid words. Well, bop really helped, besides that it's a different print, the word itself. And I really didn't think anything really stood out until he said, it's like I'm made out of sticks and Jared is made out of logs. So now I'm visualizing a little boy who's like a stick figure and another boy who's solid with log arms. See how that works? Okay. And then over here, it said his friend Stanley Washington said, good one, Jared, with his glasses gleaming like mean lizard eyes. There's 3 vivid things that I can write down right away. Okay. And I have to go back in and find them because I'm not going to stop reading to jot them unless I have a Post-it note. But I know some of you don't have a Post-it note. So I'm just going to come back in when I'm done and know, oh, I remember, I know what I'm looking for. So I'm going to keep going for a few minutes. Okay. There is a 3rd grade boys' war going on at our school, but the 3 kids in the war, Jared Matthews, Stanley Washington, and me, Elray Jakes, all act like nothing is wrong. Our teacher, Miss Sanchez, doesn't have a clue. Miss Sanchez is smart about what goes on inside her classroom, but she doesn't know what goes on outside, before school and during nutrition break, lunch, and after recess. And outside is when school really happens for kids. That's interesting. Good one, Stanley, Jared says, after Stanley insults me, and Jared high-fives him. Bad one, Stanley, I echo, trying to make fun of them. Stanley Washington is like Jared's shadow. He wears glasses, like I said, and he has straight brown hair that flops over his forehead as if it has given up trying. Jared is chunky and strong. He has frowning eyes, and his brown hair sticks up all over the place, like a cat just licked it. His hair does whatever it wants, just like Jared. A couple of girls hop by holding hands. Jared and Stanley step back looking all innocent because girls tell, especially these girls, Cynthia Harbison and her kiss-up friend Heather Patton. Icky boys, Cynthia calls out over her shoulder. Cynthia is the cleanest person I have ever met. She is strangely clean. For instance, Cynthia's fingernails never have any dirt under them. Also, her clothes never get any food, poster paint, grass stains on them, no matter what. I don't think she has very much fun. And what's the point of being clean if it means you never get to have any fun? Cynthia has short, straight hair that she holds back with a plastic hoop. And Heather pulls her long hair back so tight in a ponytail that her eyes always look scared. But maybe Heather really is scared from hanging around mean, bossy Cynthia all the time. Gosh, recess sounds scary, huh? Cynthia is like Jared, only without the hitting. Hey, Elray, why don't you go sit on the grass with the rest of the girls? Jared asks me when Cynthia and Heather have hopped away to the other side of the playground. So it sounds like Jared is really insulting, don't you think? So far, even though I'm thinking about vivid words, I really want to go back and start making a list of my characters and what I found out about them, even though that's not my assignment for today, but because I just started writing, I don't want to miss out on anything. So when I'm done this reading, I'm going to go back in, I'm going to make a list of characters, and then I'm going to make a list of my vivid words, okay? Yeah, crybaby, Stanley says. Go sit with the girls. I'm not even crying, Stanley Ella, I say, pretending he is the girl. It's the best put down I can come up with on such short notice. That's not even my name, so duh, Stanley says. Duh, I say back at him. I want to turn around and walk away, but if I do, Jared will probably grab me from the back tight and start grinding his knuckles into my ribs. This is one of his favorite things to do because from far away, you can't tell anything bad is going on. Jared's supreme goal is to make me cry someday in front of the entire class. So I have to wait for Jared and Stanley to be the ones to walk away first. I would rather be playing kickball with Corey Robinson and Kevin McKinley, who are my friends. But it's not exactly like I have a choice right now. Duh, I say again, and I don't know why. Finally, the recess bell rings, and Jared gives Stanley a friendly pretend shove, and Stanley gives Jared a shove too. Only not as hard because Jared is the boss. And they walk away without even looking at me, like I'm nothing. Come on, El Rey, Emma McGraw says as she skips by with a red-haired Annie Pat Masterson. We have Spanish this afternoon, and Miss Sanchez is going to talk about food, taquitos, burritos, enchiladas, and stuff. Yum! Emma is the second littlest kid in our class, but she loves to eat. I think that's her main hobby. Hurry up, Annie Pat calls out, and she and Emma skip away. And so I hurry up, but I don't skip because boys just don't. Not at Oak Glen Primary School anyway, and probably not anywhere. Not when they have arm muscles the size of ping pong balls. Quite a few Vivid. And look, right there, look at his arm muscles he's trying to show you. The size of ping pong balls. So 2 things I'm going to do with my book. You only have 1 assignment. If you're starting a new book, though, you might have 2 like me. Your 1 assignment is whatever you're going to read today, and you're going to read for your 40 minutes. You're going to go back in and find any vivid words, any sentences, phrases, couple of words that helped you make a mental picture. So if I'm going to be truthful, I'm going to say ping pong ball muscles would be 1. I don't have to write the whole sentence. I'm going to put in there that the size thing I talked about. I'm going to put glasses. Stanley's glasses were gleaming like mean lizard eyes right here. Sorry, right here. And that word bop. And just the vivid of how Jared laughed like a cartoon donkey. And I don't want to just write ha, 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 because that's not as interesting to me as the fact that this author wrote, Sally Warner wrote, cartoon donkey. So when I think about a cartoon donkey, I can actually hear that. That's pretty funny, right? And so him being the smallest, I might also write. So I'm just going to make a list of anything that was really vivid to me in chapter 1 about El Rey Jakes. Okay, but I'm also going to go back and just start to keep a list of my characters like I've been doing and a couple things I know about them. So as I read, I'm not confused. El Rey is the smallest. Jared is the biggest. Stanley is a follower, right? And not so nice, lizard eyes. And then we have a couple girls. And I remember that Cynthia is like the girl version of Jared, bossy and mean. I believe that's what he said. And I'll go back in and check. Okay, so you today are going to read and come back on Monday, that's our day, and write some words in whatever chapter, whatever amount of time you read, title in your book, your title what your book is called in your black and white notebook, and then go ahead and give me some words that helped you to visualize. What was vivid enough to really give you an idea that author used to help you picture what is happening in that book? Those ping pong size muscles. He's the biggest, he's the smallest, things like that, those lizard eyes. All right, guys, you can do it. Good job. Keep up the good work. I'll see you tomorrow.